What's up to all my people out there in YouTube land? I basically want to bring all my English speaking audience into this conversation, even though it was a Spanish speaking one. For those who follow me, oh no, I'm sorry, for those who do not follow me, do not know what my channel is about, I'm a small content creator, digital content creator. I have a YouTube channel called Ray Condor. I have a TikTok account called Ray Condor. And the purpose of this channel is mostly has to do about travel to Colombia. I want to do other travel videos where I'll be going to other countries as well, but sometimes I do talk about subjects that interest me, like martial arts and stuff like that. Because of the political climate and me being Latino, I have made a few political videos, and I want to bring everybody here into this conversation. If politics isn't your thing, switch somewhere else. But I want to talk about on the subject and why Latinos for Trump are a bunch of hypocrites, and I'm going to explain to you why. These two people here you see in the background are two different influencers. Carlos Ospina on the top, he is a famous TikToker. He's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, influencer in I think in Spanish let's put in Latin American Spanish-speaking world, not a Spanish-speaking world outside of the United States. He studied immigration law. He does a lot of videos, very pro-democrat, very pro-immigrant. He tries to, help people out who are in trouble. Now, this person right here, I think his name is Palin Roman. I think he's a Colombian singer. I'm not too sure. I'm a little bit ignorant on that. I came across his video. He does have a few million followers, so he's pretty well known on his TikTok as well. He does have a YouTube channel. So what happened between these two? Well, basically they were fighting on the reason why Kamala Harris had lost and Donald Trump had won. And Mr. Roman here, he was making a lot of false claims against the Democratic Party. He was saying that the reason why Latin America is in a bad shape as it is, and the people had to move here is because they're democratic societies. That tells you that he doesn't know or understand politics, because any Cuban, and I know a lot of Cubans because I live near Miami, and where you have a big Cuban and Venezuelan population, they will tell you that their countries are not democratic. This country is democratic republic actually. Venezuela is a socialist country. Cuba is a communist dictatorship. Anyways, long story short. He was also going a lot of different things, and I want to talk to people, and I want to tell them why a lot of these Miami Cubans and why a lot of these Venezuelans and who vote for Trump are the way that they are, and why they're a bunch of hypocrites. And I'm going to give you an example. This is anecdotal evidence. So about 2 weeks before Donald Trump won, or maybe like 1.5 weeks before Donald Trump won, I was at the gym. This man approaches me, a Cuban guy. I have seen him before. He's an acquaintance, not a good friend of mine, but I'm friendly with him. And he said, "Hey, I want to move to West Palm Beach, which is further north. Can you help me transfer my membership because I don't speak good English?" I said, "Fine, no problem." So we go speak to the person up front. The supervisor comes out. We explain to him the situation. He said, "I'm going to transfer your membership." So while the supervisor is getting things in order, he looks at me and he tells me in Spanish, he goes, "Man, I hope Donald Trump doesn't win." And I thought that was weird because, it is common fact that most Cubans in the South Florida area are pro-Trump. And I say, well, so you must want Kamala Harris to win, because I do know there are some Cubans that are democratic. So he looks at me and goes, "No, I don't want Kamala Harris to win because she is a socialist." He looks at me and he says, "What happens is that I'm bringing my wife into this country, and I brought her all the way from Cuba to Mexico, and she is at the Mexican border with the United States, and she's applying through the CBP-1 so she can get interviewed and she can come into this country, because I understand that if Donald Trump wins, I know that he's going to shut everything down, and I want my wife here. But I do not want Kamala Harris to win. I prefer Donald Trump to win." See, this is basically the hypocrisy of the Latinos for Trump, because there's a problem with the Latino community that once they get up there, it's me and me only, and screw everybody else. Excuse my language. And I have met this from many and I have heard this from many Miami Cubans. Now, if anybody can see out there, I have green eyes. I have light skin. I have my phenotype is I can actually, sometimes if I stay inside long enough, some people say I can pass for a European American, a white person. And the Cubans in Miami, even though the majority of people in Cuba are not white, the Cubans in Miami, they're very racist towards other Latino cultures. I have heard them literally tell me, and even online or indirectly, saying that the Mexicans are a bunch of bow and arrow throwers, tiraflechas, right? They will say bad stuff about African Americans. They will say bad stuff about Haitian Americans because in Miami there's a huge Haitian population. They will say the worst things ever. What else? They will say literally throw everybody else under the bus because they only care about themselves. The same thing when it comes to the Venezuelans. Now the Venezuelans, what they were doing is, and I'm not sure if people know this, but in the Spanish-speaking TikTok, a lot of the Venezuelans were making videos poking fun of Mexicans, poking fun of Ecuadorians, poking fun of Peruvians, saying, I am glad I was born a Venezuelan because I have this paper here, which is TPS, which is basically a temporary protection, not even an actual residency, saying, and you guys have nothing. I'm getting free money from the government off of your tax dollars. And I'm glad I was born a Venezuelan and not a Mexican because I don't have dirty, disgusting hands and I have to work hard all the time. I just do Uber Eats or DoorDash or something like that. And it turned into a huge fight between Central Americans and the Venezuelans. Thankfully, they didn't go after the Colombians. I wonder why. You know, they don't go after the Colombians, even though, because we're sister countries. And for the people that don't know, Colombia and Venezuela used to be the same country. And just as a bonus, Panama used to be part of Colombia, and the Republicans stole Panama from Colombia, but that's a whole different story. So anyways, and they were saying, oh, I'm glad I'm Venezuelan and not an ugly Native American with the body of a tamal or something like that, you know. But guess what? Now that Donald Trump took over and he took away the temporary protected status, the Venezuelans are quiet. Now, I have a lot of Venezuelan friends whom I respect, who are citizens here, or even who are not citizen, and they are good, humble people, they are educated. But the vast majority of this last wave that came were a bunch of the people from the lower classes, and they pretty much screwed the image for everybody else. But, you know, you get what you deserve. There's an old saying in Spanish, escupes hacia el cielo y le cae en la cara. Don't spit at the sky because it lands on your face, right? And guess what? It landed on your face. And just like the lady says, the lepers ate my face. Why? Number one, Miami Cubans think they're white. The Venezuelans, it has to do more with power within the community of obtaining the piece of paper. I haven't seen too much of the, no, you could say, I mean, I have seen it because, you know, they talk about people with indigenous features. So there is some type of like underlying racist nuance there. So yeah, I just want to let people know that this is basically the problem. They think they're white. And I keep on telling them in Spanish, you're not one of them. You may be, even the white Latinos in their country, you may be at the top of the ladder there, but here you're not one of them. They're just using you. They're just using you. They're using you and you're not one of them. You're not going to have the seat at the table. You're not going to have a piece of the pie. Look at what happened to Vivek Ramaswamy. He thought he was white and they kicked him out. They will give you a little bit of food to make you think you're better than everybody else, but that's what they did with the African Americans in this country. And their fight has always been with the African American person. That's the whole point. Haven't you ever noticed? Like, what they have a huge problem with the Native American in this country. I'm sorry, with the African American in this country. And the Native Americans, they don't acknowledge them even though they took the land from them. And at the same time, they messing with the Arabs. They always have a problem with somebody else, but primarily it has to do with the African American. And they thought, okay, well, we'll make you think you're white enough to be with us to counter them. Because they know that they're losing power. They know that they're losing, that this country's changing. Because let's face it, this is not the 1950s. The majority of people here are not European American. The demographics are changing. And that's the problem with the Latin American. Because, yeah, unfortunately, we're not a monolithic community. We're united by language. We'll be friendly with each other, but there's some people that want to be higher than you. They want to sit next to master. Okay? So, unfortunately, that's how things they are. All right, so this is Ray Condor signing off. I will be making more videos. I'm trying to push away from politics. I really am. But, you know, this is, you know, sometimes you just can't sit back and stay quiet when I feel that something is morally wrong. You know, it can be debated, but I feel that in my perspective, something's morally wrong.